Good morning, America. Donald Trump taking on his own party, calling the system rigged, as a new poll shows he has a huge lead in New York, as his family rallies to his side.
If he would only listen, I just say, okay, do whatever you want. He's an adult. Right. He knows the consequences.
As Paul Ryan shuts down talk again about his own late run for the White House.
Severe storms slam the South. Giant hail pounds homes, shattering windows, and new images of rain collapsing a roof as more heavy rain and possible floods move in.
An ABC News exclusive. Olympic gold medalist Peekaboo Street speaking out for the first time about the fight with her father and that arrest.
My whole world is crumbling around me.
Now revealing a dark family secret. Her emotional interview only on GMA.
And on the verge of greatness, Steph Curry's Golden State Warriors going for a history-making win, taking the crown from the greatest player ever. As another legend, Kobe Bryant, prepares to say goodbye to the game. The end of one era, the beginning of another right now.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
And Good Morning America, happy Wednesday. What a night ahead in the NBA.
Just minutes after Kobe made his announcement that this was going to be his last game, you know, when he did this months ago, well, just minutes after that, sold out. Ticket prices for tonight's game shot up, becoming some of the most expensive for a regular season game in sports history.
Yeah. And as George said, history could be made tonight. Steph Curry and the Warriors also have a chance to do it, to beat the record of Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls team for the most wins in a regular season.
What a season they are having.
I'm going to go on record that I'm going to be tired tomorrow morning because I'm going to be up late. So when you see the red eyes,
it's your day.
Yeah, got it. That's it. Thank you all. We're going to begin, though, with a race for the White House and the battle for New York. A new poll showing Donald Trump with a huge lead, up more than 40 points. The primary now just 6 days away, and Trump's family making headlines at a town hall overnight. ABC's John Carl is in Syracuse, New York, with the latest. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Robin. As he attempts to close the deal on the Republican nomination, Donald Trump is moving closer to an all-out war with his own party.
He's got a huge lead in New York, but Donald Trump is bitterly complaining about Republican primary rules, accusing his own party of trying to tank his nomination.
This is a dirty trick, and I'll tell you what, the RNC, the Republican National Committee, they should be ashamed of themselves for allowing this kind of crap to happen. I can tell you that.
He's especially upset about what happened last week in Colorado, which held a convention instead of an open election and awarded all of its delegates to Ted Cruz. We talked to Trump about it backstage before his rally in Rome, New York.
I saw what Chairman Priebus said. He said that these rules were set last year. There's nothing mysterious, nothing new.
Oh, it's totally mysterious. In fact, the people that are running it don't even know about it. No, it's a rigged system.
But there are rules. Were you unprepared, you and your team, for this? I mean, you're not a professional politician.
No, I'm not. No,
ready
I'm not.
For this process?
No, I was ready for a democratic race, meaning, you know, democracy. And this is not democracy. This is not democracy at its finest, I can tell you, because I'm leading by millions of votes.
And in a CNN town hall meeting last night with his family, Trump said straight up that party leaders don't want him to get the nomination.
You're saying that you don't think the RNC wants you to get the nomination?
No, I don't think so. I really don't.
Ted Cruz says Trump is just trying to bully the party and the delegates.
Donald needs to stop threatening the voters. He needs to stop threatening the delegates. He is not a mobster.
At the family town hall, Trump's adult children and his wife Melania tried to show the softer side of the GOP frontrunner.
Now you see us by his side every single day, and it's something that we love doing because we truly love the man to death.
Whenever my father puts his heart and soul into something, he goes full force.
But as Trump tries to lock up the Republican nomination, even his own family says he needs to act more presidential.
How would you like him to be different?
Just to use nice language.
Better language.
Better language.
You sometimes tell him to withhold some of that sort of fire. I also understand it, and I think it's instinct.
I'm very capable of doing it. It's easy to do it. I mean, it's easier to do it than the way I behave right now. But
so why not?
I have because I have two more people I have to take out.
And Republican Party Chairman Reince Priebus fired back overnight at Trump with a tweet saying, quote, "Nomination process known for a year and beyond. It's the responsibility of the campaigns to understand it. Complaints now, Give us all a break. George, I have never seen anything like it. A war of words between the party chairman and the person that is the front runner right now for that party's nomination.
Yeah, and Reince
Truly
Priebus,
extraordinary and unprecedented.
It really is, and Priebus has been talking to Trump a lot. He seems pretty fed up in that tweet right there. Let's talk to Matthew Dowd right now, our political analyst. And Matthew, you know, this war of words now between the RNC chair and Donald Trump. At the same time, you saw some of Trump's best assets out there in that town hall meeting last night.
Well, yeah, as John said, it's unprecedented that he's in a fight with the people that he wants the nomination of. I actually thought last night was Donald Trump's best moment in the campaign with his wife and his family there. They put on a great face. They put on a great interviews in the course of that. And one of the things I've learned in the last 20 years is people now don't just vote for one person. They vote for a family in the White House, and they want to see the family as a unit. And I think that showed very well for Donald Trump last night.
But he is going to have to pull his delegate campaign together to do a better job of getting these people on board.
Well, he has never in this process put together a real professional campaign that we have ever seen before, that it's not even close to what we've seen in the past before. I think Donald Trump understands that he probably gets to 1,100 delegates, maybe 1,200 delegates. How does he get those last 100 delegates? It's through a mechanism of mechanics and a real campaign, and he's in a hurry to put that together.
Meantime, big news from the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, yesterday among these calls to draft him at the convention. He finally put it to rest.
Yes,
I do not want, nor will I accept the nomination for our party. If no candidate has a majority on the first ballot, I believe that you should only choose from a person who has actually participated in the primary. Count me out. I should not be considered, period, end of story.
Now, that seems about as Sherman-esque as you can get, Matt.
That's a pretty direct statement. I think he figured out, you know, George, I'd like to go see the Pope and visit with the Pope this week, but I'm not going to get an invitation. Paul Ryan wasn't going to get an invitation to be the nominee. There's a better chance that Kobe Bryant will play next season than Paul Ryan would be the GOP nominee.
Okay, well, putting it all in perspective, thank you, Matthew Dowd. Let's go over to Robin.
That's our Matt, George. That's our Matt. All right, now to that massive storm battering the South. Baseball-sized hail and flooding, and more violent weather is on the way. Ginger is back and has the latest. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning, Robin. It's happening this morning, and look at this large hail, this time in San Antonio, Texas, in the hand there, shredding people's blinds from the inside, from the outside to inside there. And look at this video, brand new, out of Jackson, Mississippi, from the heavy rains that moved through, record rainfall near 5 inches. The roof collapses at that school, the water rushing in, rushing outside. Fortunately, no one hurt there. Flood watches this morning. Still, San Antonio, Texas, having some big issues. But from Pensacola back through parts of Mississippi, southern Alabama, we're watching the rainfall. I'll have more on that, Robin, coming up on how much rain falls along the Gulf Coast in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Ginger, thank you. Now to the big health alert about the Zika virus. The House now taking a big step, passing a bill to speed up Zika drug research, as health officials say Americans in at least 30 states could potentially be at risk. Joining us now from Bethesda, Maryland, is Dr. Anthony Fauci. He is the director of the National Institute for Allergy and Infectious Disease at the National Institutes of Health. Doctor, thank you very much for your time this morning. I know that you spoke recently at that White House briefing where the CDC announced that the Zika virus could be scarier than first thought. What does that exactly mean, sir?
Well, there are several things. One, it's obviously spreading, rather rapidly. We're seeing cases that are travel-related cases coming to the United States. We haven't seen local cases yet. But when you look at the ability of this virus to destroy tissue of the brain and neurological tissue, that its ability to cause damage to the neurological system is really getting rather concerning, even more so than we thought originally.
And, sir, does it go beyond pregnant women here? And how close is there to finding a treatment?
I think when we talk about treatment, that's something that is probably in the distance, in the sense of it's an acute viral infection. We really need to think about prevention. And one of the ways you can prevent, obviously, is to develop a vaccine. And that's something we have on very much of a fast track to try and begin some studies, early studies, of vaccine candidates that we have lined up. The other is mosquito control. Not only controlling mosquitoes, killing mosquitoes, preventing their breeding, but also protecting pregnant women with things like making sure we can avoid mosquito contact. You know, we have the CDC recommendation that people in the United States who are pregnant, thinking of being pregnant, going to these areas, they should really not travel to the involved areas.
The president asked for $1.9 billion in funding last February. As we're reporting, the House is now finally acting upon it. What do you need, Doctor, to be able to properly face this?
We need the money to begin and continue the programs. We've already started with the programs now. We can't delay, but the money that was asked for is really absolutely necessary for us to get the job done.
All right, Dr. Fauci, thank you very much for your tireless efforts. We appreciate it very much.
Good to be with you.
And of course, adding to the growing concerns, summer's going to be here before we know it.
Yeah, and it's real eye-opening to see that red spread
Yes,
across the U.S. map. Okay, we're going to move on now. There are new developments this morning in the shooting death of Will Smith. The Super Bowl champ was gunned down in a road rage incident, and authorities now say there was a loaded gun in his car. ABC's Ryan Smith has the latest.
Breaking overnight, police revealing to ABC News former NFL star Will Smith had a fully loaded 9mm handgun in his car when he was gunned down by 28-year-old Cardell Hayes. Authorities say ballistics show the weapon wasn't fired, and they did not find bullet casings. Police also recovering a fully loaded revolver from Hayes' car, different from the .45 caliber handgun they say he used to shoot Smith multiple times in the back and torso, and his wife Raquel at least once in the leg. This morning, police searching a third car involved in the car accident, a gray Impala they say contained 2 friends of Smith, uninjured during the shooting. Police not confirming their identities, but a close friend of Smith's, Washington Redskins running back Pierre Thomas, was photographed at the scene after the shooting, posting this on Instagram. Eyewitness, a close friend, shot to death over an expletive fender bender. Hayes' defense attorney saying his client wasn't the aggressor. Will Smith's father speaking out for the first time since his son's death to our affiliate WTVD.
He shot him in the back, and then he walked up on him and shot him again. And then when his wife started screaming, "We have babies," he shot her. Please tell me where that was not murder.
Smith's father attempting to forgive his son's killer.
Do I forgive the gentleman that shot my son? Yes, I do. Am I going to forget him? Hell no.
Hayes has been charged with second-degree murder. He has not yet entered a plea, but authorities say another charge for shooting Raquel Smith is pending in further investigation. She is recovering from non-life-threatening injuries, George.
Okay, Ryan, thanks very much. What a story.
It really is, George. Now to an incredible survival story. A 72-year-old woman stranded for 9 days in the Arizona wilderness. She says she drank pond water and ate plants to survive and made a sign, as you can see, that said help to signal rescuers. ABC's Clayton Sandell has her remarkable story.
This morning, 72-year-old Ann Rogers has managed to not just beat the odds, but smash them to pieces. On March 31st, she's driving to see her family in Phoenix.
However, I took a wrong turn.
Ending up in the remote Arizona wilderness, her car out of gas.
There was no way to do anything other than camp in the car that night with Queenie, my dog, and Nike, my cat.
On April 3rd, her car and her cat are found, but Rogers and her dog Queenie still missing. Cold, desperate to find water and plants they can eat to survive.
Every night, the cold set in, so I had to prepare my campfire, space for me and Queenie to squeeze together and curl up together for body warmth.
For 9 days, search teams come up empty. A few days later, searchers spot Queenie, and then this, a help signal made from rocks and sticks.
The ground searchers found my note, "Please, please, help. I need it now."
Finally, a helicopter finds Rogers, remarkably not just alive after 9 days, but able to walk to the chopper all on her own.
Age does not necessarily mean inability. It can mean wisdom.
For Good Morning America, Clayton Sandell, ABC News, Denver.
Love what she said.
Yeah, she's got a lot of ability.
Now let's go to Amy with the morning's other top stories, starting with some news about the FBI.
That's right. We have new details now about how the FBI was able to break into the cell phone that belonged to the San Bernardino shooter. The Washington Post reporting the FBI paid a one-time fee to professional hackers who found a flaw in Apple's software and then created a device to figure out Syed Farouk's passcode. Well, a police officer shot in Ohio during a standoff with the suspect has now died from his injuries. Stephen Smith of the Columbus Police Department is now the 16th law enforcement officer to die this year as a result of firearms. That is double the number this time last year. Well, the governor of North Carolina is amending a controversial law that limits anti-discrimination protection for gay and transgender people. His new executive order will change the state's equal opportunity employment policy to include sexual orientation and gender identity. Well, nearly 40,000 workers at Verizon are on strike today, demanding better pay and job security. The company says trained replacement workers will pick up the slack. And finally, one couple got so romantic at a bar in Montana, they were oblivious to their surroundings, even an armed robbery. Take a look. They're busy smooching there, right? And then masked men run in and hold up the bar, pointing the gun at people. But the couple carries on unaware, even as their other frightened customers put their hands up. The lovers finally came up for air only when the robbers left the bar as the bartender hit the alarm. And to that I say, love is blind.
Apparently.
I was wondering what you were going to say about that.
I was too. I had a few lined up too. Big
night.
I know.
Big night,
Robin,
big night.
get ready. We're not going to get any sleep. A huge night in basketball, everyone. The Golden State Warriors looking to break a 20-year NBA record, and not just any record, Michael Jordan's. And Lakers star Kobe Bryant closing out his 20-year career. Both games kicking off at the same time. Choices. ABC's TJ Holmes is here with more. Hey, TJ.
Hey, good morning. Forget politics. This is the most heated debate we have going on in the country right now. We're all divided. Jordan's 96 Bulls that won a record 72 games, or Curry's 2016 Warriors that could win their 73rd tonight. Who's the greatest? Well, of course, depends on who you ask.
The NBA champion Golden State Warriors have had a non-stop record-breaking season.
Running to Klay Thompson to dunk it down.
24 straight wins to start the season, the longest ever home court winning streak at 54, and the first team to clinch a playoff spot with a whopping 2 months left in the regular season.
Curry gets it back. His three is perfect.
And now, with 72 wins, MVP Steph Curry and his Warriors have tied for the most wins in a single season. One game away from breaking a record held 20 years by the legendary 95-96 Chicago Bulls. So could the Golden State Warriors be the greatest team of all time? Bulls Hall of Famer Scottie Pippen says Golden State wouldn't stand a chance against his record-setting Chicago squad.
Bulls in 4.
Bulls in 4?
Yeah.
They don't get one off you?
No.
Others, not so sure.
Steph Curry's the babyface assassin for a reason. The brother's got heart, Skip. He ain't scared of anybody.
Anything can happen.
But the Warriors have a secret weapon, their coach. Steve Kerr was on that 96 Bulls squad, but wisely told the San Francisco Gate, if the two teams played each other, there's no question that we could beat us and they could beat them. Well played, Coach. Steph Curry remains coy as well.
We're doing something special, and this is a great time to be a Warrior fan.
But the hottest ticket of the night, actually Kobe's last game.
I remember when I spoke with him in November about tonight and how it's going to be very emotional for him. Yeah, 20 illustrious years. Yeah, great night. Thanks, TJ. Thanks, TJ. Ginger?
Yeah, another couple of mornings with frost and freezer fires. Look, Indiana through Connecticut, but it is going to warm up after this. I will tell you about that later, because we've got to get straight to your sunny cities, brought to you by Febreze.
Carl, don't you have friends coming over?
Yeah, so?
It stinks in here. You've got to wash this whole room.
Are you kidding? Wash it?
Let's wash it with Febreze.
For all the things you can't wash, use Febreze Fabric Refresher.
Whoa.
Hey, Mrs. Weber. Hey, it smells nice in here.
And try pluggable Febreze with up to 4 times the freshness in one refill. Pluggable Febreze and Fabric Refresher. 2 more ways to breathe happy.
Good morning, Washington. A little on the frosty side north and west of town with an advisory until 9 o'clock. Otherwise, sunny skies throughout the day today. It's going to be pretty pleasant. Our winds a little bit calmer. Our temperatures a little bit cooler, between 55 and 60 degrees. Overnight tonight, clear skies, cold temperatures again, some patchy frost off to the west. Temperatures ranging from the mid-30s to lower 40s. Tomorrow, a pleasant one near seasonal averages with a high of 62 and a warming trend this weekend.
Coming up, an ABC News exclusive, Olympic champion Peekaboo Street opening up for the first time in an emotional interview about her arrest after that fight with her father.
It was pretty aggressive.